Yo, what is up, all you gamers out there? The name is Tekken Heat. I'm bringing you guys a quick little, well, more so long commentary about my wishes for the next Need for Speed. Now, Need for Speed 2015, they did a marvelous job. I felt like a lot of stuff that they did was pretty good. You know, this was the reboot, and from what we've seen, this is actually pretty good. However, there are some things that I would like to see return and be changed or added onto in the next one, and not sure if they're going to be making one for 2016 or if they're going to be waiting another year like they did with this one, just so they have more time to develop the game. However, if they do one for 2016, then I feel like they should at least put in a lot of the stuff that they had in this game and just put it into their next, because they did a lot of stuff that were right, such as the map size. I felt like the map size was pretty good. It never hurts to make it a little bigger. A lot of the cars are right. I have no problem with any of them, and I also like a lot of the modifications that you can do. If you can port those over, that would be great, as long as you also do it on the Frostbite engine, because that looks beautiful. Now, some of the things that I would like to see changed or just added on into the next Need for Speed. For the story, I would like to have the kind of story where you're kind of faced up against somebody, where there's a main character, where there's a protagonist and an antagonist. In this one, in 2015, it was more so just become the best, become the icon. There wasn't anybody that you had to worry about except for the cops, but they weren't that good, which is something I'll get to later. It was mainly just become the best, and that was it. It was fun as hell because you also got to meet up with all these real life icons and such, but it felt like there was nothing to lose. In games like, say, Pro Street, Most Wanted, Carbon, etc., there was always the main antagonist who always tried to best you, who you were trying to work your way up to finally beating. And I really did miss that. I felt like it was really in depth, even in The Crew, which is a recent racing game that came out that I really did love. You were the guy who was trying to get revenge for the murder of your brother, and you wanted to dethrone him in a way and really, gain back that title of the 510 and actually use it for what it's meant to be. Something like that is what I love, and I hope that they do in the next Need for Speed. Again, I have no problem with the story that they had in this game, but I kind of like a more protagonist versus antagonist kind of game. It just feels more something you can get into. For the cars, I feel like they did a good job with the cars, because something that I realized is that Need for Speed's car lists are never too big, compared to Forza, where they'll have like hundreds of cars. Need for Speed, they'll have around 50 to 70 cars, and the reason for that is because Need for Speed has always focused on customization over the amount of cars you can get in the game. However, in the recent ones, they didn't have customization. They just had a very lack of cars, but in this reboot, that's not what we're going to be seeing. What I would like is to at least have 75 cars, though. All these cars in Need for Speed 2015, you've already made them. You can easily port them over to the next one. There are some cars, though, that you guys did miss that I really wish you had, like the 350 or 370Z, the R33 Skyline, which even though you have the R32, the R34, the R35 and stuff, why just skip the R33? Like, that's another very beautiful car. You guys missed out on the Evo 10, Subarus. You guys did have the hatchback one, but I care more about the sedan one. There are just so many stuff that they missed that I would love for them to port over what they have here into the next one, and then add a lot more. Like, even the G35, why is that just a civilian car? I would love to run with the G35, but for some reason they just never gave it to us, even though we see that they have it in the game, but only as a civilian car. That's a very loved car to a lot of JDM drivers. How come we can't drive that? So I would at least love to see at least 75 plus cars in the game. Again, just port over what you have now, since all these cars are really loved, and then just add more to it, okay, please. And with customization, I would love to see a lot more real world aftermarket parts. We did get a few, we did get a lot of good wide bodies, but there is some that I would love to see. Like, I was thinking about it a while back, we should really have Veilside NSX, Veilside's RX-7 from Tokyo Drift. Oh my goodness, how many people would be remaking Han's car from Tokyo Drift if you can get the Veilside wide body in this game? There would just be so many things I would love. Like, for me, one of my personal favorite aftermarket companies is VIS Racing. I really love them. I love the kits that they have. They're very good. You could have stuff from Duraflex, and they're just tons more. I'm not even going to list them all. There's just a lot more. I would also love to see some aftermarket performances from like Greddy, AEM, InGen, and etc. If they could do that, that would be nice. And I would love to see for performance upgrades something similar to what they had with turbos. How they had about 5 different turbochargers, but they each had their own characteristic to it. Like, one of them, you could hit a topper, you have more horsepower, but there would be times where your 0 to 60 wouldn't be as fast, and things would vary within that realm. I wish that they can do that for a lot more of the parts. Like, they'll have different intakes, they'll have different exhausts, manifolds, turbos, continuate, and a whole bunch of different stuff. I wish you can do that. Something else I wish you can do is engine swaps. I would love to see people try to do a LS swapped RX-7, or people put in their RBs into their 180s or 240s and 2Js in so many different. I would love to see that. If they can do that, that would be awesome. If you don't do the first option that I gave you, where you guys give us different options for different modifications, at least let us do engine swaps. I think that would be glorious, because I know they do that in the Forzas, and it really does intrigue me of how they can do that. I really wish I could too in Need for Speed. So outside of that, for the stance, now I like what they did. It was a good start. However, I would love for them to, in a way, exaggerate it more, because in a lot of real world stuff, you see some ridiculous double-digit cambers being done to cars. You'll see people scraping low, and I know a lot of people probably wouldn't. Oh, actually no, that's actually wrong. A lot of people would probably do it in the game because it really doesn't hurt too much. It's not something that they're gonna constantly regret, like, oh my gosh, I gotta worry about the scrapes. No, it's just something that will look cool. I feel like that's more of a video game kind of thing that would be very praised amongst a lot of people. How many people would love to just slam their car to almost scraping the ground with such ridiculous camber? And something else you could probably do, if you're gonna add such ridiculous camber, have that actually affect the way the car handles. Like, putting on more ridiculous camber really does help out the drift, instead of just having tire pressure affecting that. Let it be, you can actually have the camber also affect your tune, which is something I would also love to see. That would be a more in-depth tune. I like where they were going with this, and I'm not saying to go to where Forza was, because that's probably a bit too overwhelming for a lot of people, because I also understand that Need for Speed is a arcade game, or at least arcade style game. It's not like a simulator like Forza is, but I would at least like to see a more in-depth tune, because I know that's something a lot of people will want to see. Not to mention, a manual transmission. I remember them saying and promising that they would put manual into Need for Speed 2015 later on, but it's been what, 3 months now? Still haven't seen it. Ghost Games, we're still waiting. Hopefully you guys can put it in within the next month or so. Definitely want to see that happen. I think that's probably all I have though for the cars and customization. Actually no, there is one more thing, and it's not too serious, but it would be just a little fun thing to have, and that would be having car meets where you can just go to certain sections and just park your car there, explore what other people did, because I have actually seen a lot of interesting, you know, customizations being done. I know people have tried recreating Fast and Furious cars. Like just today I saw somebody with a skyline of Too Fast Too Furious that looks sick. I know a lot of people try to remake Fast and Furious cars or real world drifting cars. They're just insane. I would love to see that in different car meets, just so you can explore, see what they have. Now, as far as the setting goes, again, I mentioned the map size. I like what they did with the map. I like how diverse things can get, how you'll have your mountain range areas, how you have highways, closed cities. I like that. They did a good job with that, and it wouldn't hurt if they did it a little bit bigger. Something like how Forza had their different sections, like how a lot of people go to the airport, a lot of people go to the shipyard. We did have a little bit of a shipyard area, but nothing too big. So again, the map was great. I would just love to see if they actually expand it a bit more and keep the diversity. Let me correct myself. The diversity of what's in it, because if you just have same city areas, it kind of gets a little boring, and that's something that we don't want to be. We don't want to be bored with the map we play in. We want to have different stuff. We want to have different areas to explore. And something else I would love to see is at least a track or two being added into the game. I don't want it to be a simulation where it's just a track racing game, but it doesn't hurt if you put in a couple of your own tracks. If you did that, that'll be very, very nice, because I know a lot of people who are really into the drifting world, they would like to do tandems on different tracks and actually have something to base their lines off of, and not, well, there are a lot of people who do like to create their own lines, but it doesn't hurt to have some track use. That's just me. Something else I would love to see is a more in-depth weather. We do have a bit of rain, like you always see puddles and stuff, but it's nothing too serious. I would love to have every now and then storms come in. I would love to have snow. That being said, it would have to be located, as in like the map itself would have to be located in a place where that can be believable. So probably somewhere up north. LA is a good area where they did this one in, because I know, at least from what I think, they should get some snow, at least if you're more up north. But if not, at least create one more up north, or again, since you guys just make your own stuff, it doesn't have to have a set location. Just imagine that's an area where you can get snow and where the storms can be really serious, and I want that to affect the way you drive. If it's going to be snowing, let the roads be very slidey. If it's raining, it could also be slippery, just not as serious as the snow. And I just want that weather to also affect your driving habit, because I think that will make things a lot more interesting. Having factors like that just really, you know, get you into it, makes you think, it makes you adjust, adapt, like how things should be in the real world. I really do like that. Outside of that, I would kind of like to see a day and night time. Have it to be where half of the day is based on night, and then half of it is based in the night. I should say night twice, didn't I? Half of it is based in the day, half of it is based in the night. If we can get that, that would be pretty nice. I don't mind the whole always nighttime, because it does seem more fitting for what you're doing. Illegal street racing is normally done at nighttime, whereas the small stuff is kind of done in the daytime. But the main street races, that's where the nighttime happens. So that's why I don't mind it always being at night. But if you did do it in the daytime, I wouldn't mind that either. However, if you guys are going to do it in the nighttime, please give us some neon. I would love to see that. I could have sworn you guys said that you guys were bringing it in, but where is it at? Only Moto Hoshi-san can get it? Why is that a thing? Please give us neon. Lastly, the cops. The cops. Why are they such retards? Please explain to me why you made the cops so damn retarded and gonna give us outlaw missions where we have to do long-term pursuits. Like, every time I get into a cop chase having to do a long-term pursuit, I always have to stop my car. I mess around doing 360s just so they can catch up. Numerous times they just run into walls, they run into other cars, and it's like, are you serious? Give them some intelligence, please. And something else I would love to see is have more cops get involved. Like, don't just let it be one cop chases you and that's it, unless you go to the actual area where the cops reside. Which, why are there not more police department areas throughout the entire area? Like, come on, please. Just let the cop chases be more exciting than having it to be a bore of having to really get the cops involved. Because it seems like even if you're in like your third heat level, you'll probably still be on one, maybe a second cop. Please let the cops be more intelligent. And I would love to see a actual cop radio communication, like how they're planning roadblocks or how they're calling out your locations, kind of like what they did in Most Wanted, and I believe also in Carbon as well. I really enjoyed that. Please put it back in the game. It'd be very nice. Now again, I really did love the game. I love what they did with Need for Speed 2015. They did a very nice reboot. However, there are just a few things that they should at least add and more so improve. Hopefully Need for Speed 2016 or 2017, don't know when it's going to be announced. It might be announced at E3 what they're going to be doing. Till then, this is just my wish list. Let me know what you guys feel. Maybe you guys have something different. Maybe you guys are disagreeing with some of the stuff I'm saying. Maybe you guys think that this was a very perfect game, that nothing really needs to be changed. Maybe just minor things, but nothing too serious that I just said. If so, put in the comments down below. Until next time, this has been your boy Tekken Heat, and I'm out. Peace.